So happy Tuesday, everybody, for podcast. Got Benji and I in the studio. We're going to go over this last week and what we got going on this upcoming week. It's always fun to see numbers coming each week. We'll start going over what the company did as a week and as what we did as each team this week. So last week, overall company numbers, we did 572 installs.
It's crazy.
Still chugging along. Top offices, I'll go through these. There's a coveted 3 spot. That third spot changes every week. I want to go over. So
yeah, between Shreveport, Nashville, Houma, and Mobile, I feel like they're all rotating.
Yeah. So Detroit was number 1, 177 installs. So awesome to see, just so consistent every week.
It's crazy. I said this last week, but I'm like, I remember doing over 100 and thinking it was like the coolest thing ever, and they're almost doing 200 every single week.
Yeah. Lafayette's 117. Great job out there. Shreveport came in number 3. So way to get on top of the other 4 that are fighting for that spot. So 72 installs.
What's crazy about Shreveport, 72 installs with 9 or 10 guys.
9 or 10 guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
Nashville 69. So pushing up into the 4 spot. So, like I said, I think they're starting to pick it up. So there'll be a contender for that number 3 spot each week. Homa's 57. Still being consistent, like same battle. So doing good out there. Good job, Travis.
And I know they're short on techs. I get a text from Travis all the time saying if we had more techs, we'd have this many more installs. So
yeah, Trav, when you get more techs, there better be at least 80. So, but yeah, that's good. Mobile 56. There was a big wedding there. So congrats to Jansen. When we have to throw up a little video of his wedding, was a party. It was fun. All the guys came back and had a wedding, jumping in the pool. Yeah, it's fun.
There was a lot of guys from Mobile that went back for the wedding.
Yeah. So should see their numbers pick up again, but fun to have a manager get married midsummer. So
we have a lot of those this year.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of weddings going on. So congrats to everybody getting married and engaged, the guys we know about and the ones we don't. And then Baton Rouge, 18 installs. So
I know they just got a few more guys too. Mm-hmm. So that'll continue.
Yeah, you were just there.
Yeah.
Helping them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Dinner goal winners for last week: Shreveport, Nashville, and Mobile all earned dinner last week. Dinner goal for this week: Detroit needs to do 176 installs, Lafayette 116 installs, Shreveport 72, Nashville 70, Houma 59, Mobile 56, and Baton Rouge 19. All doable. Top 10 vets last week: Mr. Trey Wood leading the way with 17 accounts.
That's awesome. It's great to see him back there, because we talked. He's like, I feel like I was up at like 18 every week last year. But I mean, it's been good. He's been focused on the team because first year's been doing good. But
I wish we would have recorded. We just had a phone call with Trey. He was talking to us as he was walking up to knock a door and kept us on speaker. But while he was selling them, but we got to hear his whole sales
all the
process.
Way he's in the house. He might still be in the house.
Yeah, he might still be in the house right now.
So got into just like try to get in the house. Let me put my dogs out back. That's always the best thing to hear.
Yeah.
So he's like, jump back on the phone with us. He's like, you guys still there?
Yeah. Yeah. While she was in the house.
Yeah.
Awesome though. 17 accounts is a massive week. Ron Hishaw with 13. Welcome to the top 10, top 2. That's an amazing week. Zach Richardson with 12, TJ Fowler with 11, Jet Vance with 10, Cole Hymas with 9, Brian Davis, let's go,
Good
with
job,
9,
Brian.
Ian Meyer, 9, Cameron Haslauer, 8, and Nate Barbieri, 9.
Good job. Good job to you guys. Yeah. It's fun to see you guys push numbers. You got to be 10 accounts basically to
10
get
accounts to get in the top 10. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, top rookies last week. So Jakai Coker, congrats on being on the top. 10 installs. Ken Bellini, which we're going to be doing him pro spotlight this week. He's actually just left and is in Utah.
He's also getting married.
And is going to knock some doors in Utah. So we'll see how that goes as he's getting married.
I know some guys in Mobile were excited when I told them that he was leaving because he's been doing so well.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, he's going to be gone. But when I told him that, he's like, I think I'll knock in Utah then so I can keep up with everybody.
I just talked to him on the phone, and he said, I just need to make sure that I don't fall behind.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, he's our pro spotlight this week. Cody Rhodes, 8. Congrats being up there. Riley Sutton, 8. Good job, Riley, being up there again. Joseph C. Chatelaine. Yep, 7. Tyler Kemp has 7. Isaac Meyer, 7. Isaac Algier, 7. Cameron Costyle, 7. And Malachi Sanders, 7. So lots of 7s. Yeah, it's still for first years to be doing. If you're top first years, you're also in the top experienced reps on the bottom half. So it's great to be doing experienced rep numbers as a first year.
Yeah, Mr. Coker was top. It showed up on the vet section. As the top rep or whatever. Yeah. So it's awesome.
So now we'll throw up the spotlight.
Okay, with Ken.
Okay, we got Ken Bellini on this week's Pro Spotlight. So we're going to go through a few questions I have for Ken. And Ken, your first summer, you showed up. I can't in your office. Do you remember what day did you show up in area?
It was April 15th.
Okay, tax day.
Yeah.
Right when everyone's getting their refunds. No wonder you sold so good.
Yeah, it's been good.
Okay. So I've got a few questions for Ken. But I just want us to be able to share some nuggets that you've had, and I came and knocked with you for the day, and you at that point I remember still learning it, and and we went out and knocked, and I think that person that we sold, that you had talked to, that went back and we sold together, you would have sold without having to go back to him now, right? Don't you agree?
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it was good that you were there.
Yeah. Okay. So couple questions. So what are you doing in your personal time to make your time on the doors the most effective?
Yeah. One is always reviewing my why, like being able to know why I'm out there. That's the biggest driving factor for me. So if I know why I'm out there, it helps me be able to get out there and actually be motivated to work. The other thing is during meetings, I'll take a few notes here and there. We have lots of really good trainings. And so even if it's just right after the meeting or right before I actually start knocking, I'll go through the pointers from that day in the meeting and really focus on those throughout the doors. And certain meetings, what we've learned in them, they've really helped me throughout that day. And then if it really works that day for me, then that's just what I add into my routine and keep doing that every day.
Is there anything that you found that this is just a question I'm thinking that you've done that's been original to you, that you found out that works for you, that no one taught you, that helped you get good at your own process?
Are you talking about like something in my pitch that I've added in, or
pitch, or something in your process from like prospecting homes to something that you like to talk to people about that's helped you?
I guess prospecting is a big one. Obviously, when you first get out there, you're still trying to learn what doors to knock and not knock. I've been able to like be really picky on what doors I should knock and not waste any time on doors that I think don't look good. So I really focus on trying to have at least 2 cars in the driveway and making sure like the decision maker's home, especially if it's when I first get dropped off to about 4. Just because then I know I can be talking to the people that will make the decision instead of, because before I used to get lots of callbacks, just come home when my husband's back. And so spending that time at the beginning of the day talking to homeowners. So just being a lot more picky at the beginning is something that I found would be helpful in getting earlier deals.
You have a lot of big days, like for a first year rep. I don't know how many 4 days you've had, but I've seen a lot of them. And you've got to sell somebody early to do that. You've got to be effective during your hours. You were the month of May top first year in the company. You've had a lot of weeks where you're up there, you're doing double digits most weeks. So to have a 4-day, how are you breaking down your work hours to get 4 in a day or to be effective for all the work hours?
Yeah, so Trey taught in our office, our days can seem like they're going to be really long. Like it's really hard to knock on your first door because it's like, I'm just getting out here. So we're trying to break our days up, trying to get a deal from when we get dropped off to 4 o'clock is our first deal. So I have it in my calendar. It's got reminders. So deal one is between drop off time and 4 o'clock. And then deal two comes from 4 to 6. And then deal three, anywhere from 6 to when we get picked up. So being able to break my days up. The other way I've been getting a lot more deals in a day is referrals. So asking for a referral after every door that I've knocked. So I'm getting better leads, and especially on the deals. Like if I get an early deal, who should I go to next? And being able to talk to them right away. The best are when you get. There was a day I had 5, and I was able to get 3 in a row, like 3 doors in a row, and all of those are just referrals. And so being able to break up my day into 3 parts, and then also asking for referrals.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And I would say like at the beginning, because in April you were selling, decent, but and not to throw you into the bus, but I remember a couple times Jet and Trey saying that you were pretty upset when you didn't sell, like that you were
Yeah.
like pretty emotional about like, and it seemed like you'd bagel and then you'd sell and you'd bagel, right? But
Yeah.
you're having less and less bagels. So what is something, I guess, specifically that you've done in your pitch that you feel like has helped you shift gears from doing good to doing great?
Biggest thing for me has been tonality as well as my whys in my pitch. So, these last 3 weeks were my best 3 weeks, and they were all in the same hood. And so I was able to figure out a good why for that neighborhood and stick to it. And so when it comes to my why, um, I just what works for me is having people shaking their heads really early in the pitch. That's just a really good soft close. And if they're understanding why I'm there, it makes the whole process a lot easier and it allows them to just hear me out and get my pitch out. So my why in my pitch has been really important for me. I've been working on that. And the other thing is the tonality. We've had a few good trainings on tonality with Trey, and once I was able to switch my tone and not seem needy or aggressive or just like a salesman, like really, you watch the Jeremy Miner videos and he talks about them, but it really does work. Like if I'm just talking really slow, and explaining what we're doing, my why makes a lot of sense to them, then it makes the whole pitch a lot easier. And that's what's worked for me. Yeah.
That's great. I know there's always something that it takes it like, hey, because you're now to the point like from when we knocked to each other saying, hey, there's some people that you had talked to that you would have sold. And you're probably having those moments now where you're like, man, I'm selling people that I wouldn't have sold a little while ago. Right. So I'm
Yeah.
like, you're starting to pick up and you're like, man, I've got momentum. Like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
At what point did it start to click for you when you started realizing like I'm selling people that I wouldn't sold a couple weeks ago? And do you have a specific story or something of like someone specifically where you feel like I
Yeah.
just sold someone that was harder than I've ever had and I wouldn't have been able to if I hadn't learned this?
Yeah. One of the biggest things that were not wasn't working for me or people were closing the door on, is because the decision maker wasn't home, like they're at work. And so this was just actually 2 weeks ago that I was able to sell someone for the first time this way. What was um They said their husband wasn't home, so I said, "Okay, let me look at my calendar, see if I can come back later. What's their phone number so I can just put it into my phone?" So I'd get the spouse's phone number, and then I'd put it up on my phone, and then I would immediately call them on the spot while the spouse was already there. Put them on speaker, and then literally just pitch the spouse while I was with the wife on the door so they're together. I just say, "Hey, I'm with Tracy right now. She wanted me to give you a quick call and run it by you." And then I did the whole pitch on the phone while he was there. And then he was like, "Yeah, that sounds good. Just as long as my wife's good with it, let's do it." Before I would always be like, "Okay, yeah, I'll just come back later." And then those callbacks obviously are a lot harder to get. And I had 3 deals in this neighborhood where it was all over the phone with the spouse. And yeah, those are deals I would have easily walked away from when I first got there. But just getting their number and then immediately calling them on the spot, because it makes it easier for him to listen to me when I'm with his wife already. And so it just makes that process a lot easier for callbacks.
I always tell I'm that's perfect. That's exactly what I hear because there's so many things that come with experience in doing the job and calling a spouse and getting them on board. It's something that sale probably went easier and like once they said, as long as my wife's okay with it, I'm okay with it. You're like, man, it just went smooth. There was less pressure, and obviously you don't skip the steps. But once you learn how to do that, you have confidence to do it again. It's kind of like the first time you do a switch over, you have confidence to switch over that company again. But there's just a lot of things you have to do for the first time.
Yeah. And then like with one leggers, sometimes even if I'm pitching them and I know their spouse is going to be coming home later, it's like Trey taught us this, but it really works. And you'll just tell the spouse, your husband won't kill you if you get the security to protect you, right? And it makes it like a little joke, but they're usually like, oh, he won't care. Like, don't worry, we're not going to cancel. That's just one way for them to not cancel. And two, she already told me he's not going to care. So for the most part, when he does get home later, he's totally fine with it. But that little joke right there, just make sure he's not going to kill you if you get security, right? That's just one really good soft close for him to not cancel later.
Yeah. And that's so great. My first year, I had so many cancels. I did the same thing, like get people to like, you lose customers and you quickly find a way to not lose that customer ever again. So for all you guys that battle a cancel, take that advice. Hey, your wife's not going to kill you. If you have any issues, call me. I'll fix it. Whatever you need to do to make sure you're just not scared to bring it up. So anyway, I want to thank you, Ken, for jumping on. This is all, I mean, we could ask you questions, I think, all day because of all the golden nuggets you have. But I think for all the guys that are just starting, this is just huge to help see, like, from when you started, not very long ago, a month and a half or 2 months, till now, you're a different animal than you were when you started. And it's fun to see. So, and a little bit of pressure on Ken while he's getting back and married. You're going to be knocking in Utah, right? So you're not falling behind. So going to be throwing down in Utah.
Hopefully, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Thanks, Sean.
Okay, thanks.
That's awesome with Ken. I remember sitting down with Ken for his recruiting meeting, and his fiance's there, and his fiance did all the.
She was more talkative than he was. He seemed like a little reserved.
He was there to listen, and I remember thinking, oh, like, I don't know how well he's gonna do, and man, if we could get his fiance to knock doors,
it should be great.
Yeah.
All of the guys said how competitive he is. Like, he's just like, if he doesn't sell, he's fired up. He's super competitive.
Whatever he did to cut the learning curve to what it was so quick, because it wasn't like he didn't have a learning curve. I remember knocking with him right at the start, and it was like he was frustrated because he wasn't where he wanted to be. And I think that's a big part of getting where you want to be. You have to be frustrated a little bit with where you are to change your circumstances.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Competitions, Gladiator games just finished up.
Congrats to all the winners of Gladiator games.
Those videos are fun to watch. I know Detroit had a little mashup of all their games, and it looked like it got pretty intense out there.
Yeah.
Sing Off starts next week. That's always exciting. That's got to be one of my favorite competitions.
Start thinking about it, because we want you guys to do a good job on them. No cheating and doing them this week, but figure out what song you're going to do. If you haven't seen any, we'll put
throw
up a couple.
An example of one or two.
Yeah. And make it fun. This time of the year, you can make the job that's hard fun. So go have some fun with it. Just put together a plan to win the Sing Off, and we have some cool prizes. So it's going to be worth winning. So
it's exciting. I'm excited to see them. The incentive, the 5K Evo hoop shirt has been sent out, as well as the custom Nikes for the blueprint. So those should all be in the mail, showing up any day.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for this week, and we'll see you guys all on the podcast next week. Good luck.
Let's go.
Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody
buy a system, it'll really protect your home. If someone tries to break in, it will alert you on your phone.
I'm here with Miss Robin. Miss Robin, what you have to say?
Oh my God, we've been out here signing my life away. Out here with Grady. It's hot outside, okay? We need Grady to help us cool off.
Yes, ma'am. What did I get y'all hooked up with today?
A whole system. Wonderful.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Come on, Grady.
Let's get right.
It's hot out here.
It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes.
Oh, it's getting so hot. I want to take my clothes off.
It's hot in here, so take off all your clothes.